Hello everyone, it's Michael here. Welcome back to the Gamers Lounge, and this is a review slash showcase of a game that was released a couple of days ago. Available on PC, PS4 and PS5. I'm running it on my PS5. It's called Distance by Refract Studios, with a few employees from DigiPen Technology Studios. This is the spiritual successor to an old PC game called Nitronic Rush, and this one has been a long time coming. People have been really waiting for this one, and it's finally here, and I'll tell you how good it is. Let's go into the main menu. You've got your various modes. They are self-explanatory. Garage, well, you only have one car, but you can select different colors. There you go. Let's choose Fireburn, why not? And campaign is the main story mode. I've completed the main campaign this morning, and you can play through any level that you've unlocked during that campaign. Once you complete the main story, you unlock this one called Lost to Echoes. I've played through a few of those, and then you unlock this one. What you unlock after that, I don't know, because I haven't gone that far yet, but at least we can review the game after having played through the main campaign itself, and I can tell you a bit about it. Story-wise, there isn't much to write home about. Oh look, there's my country there coming into view. It's Italy. Look at that. The famous boot. And so the story is, you're a lone driver. You're supposed to infiltrate a facility where a dangerous alien entity wants to take over the Earth, and that's pretty much it. So you're just driving to save mankind and to survive, and to save yourself as well. So campaign, then you have arcade, split screen, garage. There you go. Arcade is very interesting. Sprint is the only mode that I've seen so far where you race against other drivers, ghost drivers, I believe. Challenge, it tells you on the bottom of the screen what everything is. Stunt. Now this is the interesting one. Trackmogrify. Basically, it's a random track generator. Now you've got two boxes down here. The one on the right is by Refract themselves. These are all their tracks, and the one on the left has a few different titles that I've typed in. So what you do is, in that box, you type in any name that comes to mind, anything that your imagination can conjure up, and the track editor will generate something that's closely matching your title. For example, I typed in Tokyo Highway, and it generated this one. So I thought, okay, I'll use my imagination and imagine that this is Tokyo in the future. And there you have it. Look at that. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go back to the main menu. And let's choose a random track from here. Now, first of all, the game eases you in very gently. When you first start off, when you're on your first track, you're just driving along, you're steering your vehicle, and that's pretty much it. So basically you're learning how to steer, and that's all there is. You're accelerating if you need to, you apply your brakes, and you just drive along, and you take in these fantastic visuals. And when I say fantastic, they are really brilliant. Now, I personally love visuals like this. I love nighttime cities. Those of you that have listened to my other videos, you know how enthusiastic I am about one day going to Tokyo. And I just love this kind of sci-fi, where you can just imagine that's what the future will look like. 400-500 years or more into the future, you think, yeah, I bet this is what it will be like. These incredible cities, and you're sort of driving through them, and you're looking at these buildings and these skyscrapers, and you're sort of wondering, I wonder what kind of people live there. I wonder what kind of people work there. and you're just imagining what life's like hundreds of years in the future. And we just messed up there. So once you've taken in the incredible visuals and the diverse tracks without messing up like I do, you will then start to unlock various abilities. The first one you unlock is the boost, and you keep X pressed and your car just speeds forward at insane speeds. After you've unlocked the boost button, you press square, you unlock jump, like that, where you have to jump over certain obstacles like platforms, and you have to avoid other obstacles like circular saws, laser beams that can slice sections off your car. If you have a little section sliced off your car by those beams, it will regenerate itself. If the car's too far gone, if it's sliced down the middle, then you're stuffed. You have to respawn. The respawns are very generous. If you mess up a section and you crash into a wall or something, it's not too bad. The game will respawn you very close to where you've messed up, with the exception of a couple of sections further into the game where you have to repeat a section where you have to combine abilities together and chain them. But usually the game is forgiving with those respawn points. They're not too bad at all. Now the other thing worthy of mention is of course the soundtrack. Now it suits the game perfectly. This is the type of soundtrack you need for a game like this. You have to have this kind of electronic synthesizer music, whether it's called synth pop or synth funk or however you want to call it. This is the only soundtrack that would suit this type of game absolutely perfectly. For those of you that are my age group, if you can remember Cyber Speedway on the Sega Saturn, it's one of my favorite games, and I had the Japanese version entitled Grand Chaser. Do you remember that one? And then in the UK it was Cyber Speedway, and it had that brilliant original Japanese soundtrack. It suited the visuals and the atmosphere perfectly. When it was released in North America, they changed it, and they had this heavy rock guitar soundtrack which completely took away from the visuals. But this soundtrack here belongs to this game, very much like when you played Wipeout on the original PlayStation when it first came out. That incredible soundtrack it had. Absolutely amazing. Now let's enjoy these visuals. I mean, look at this. I mean, look at these cityscapes you're driving through. They're just utterly amazing. And you know, the tracks are very diverse. There's no repetitiveness. They're very different. Every track is different. Even if it still features a city or a factory or the inside of an alien structure, it's brilliant. It really is. So this is the end of this level. Oh no, it isn't. Ah, this is where you unlock flight. There you go. So you tap the square and you just take flight, and then you come back down to earth, tap it again, there you go. Avoid a few of those silly obstacles, and there you have it. Yeah, watch these platforms, you can't ram into those. I'll give you an example of the respawns. So I've crashed there, and it respawns you just a few meters back here. There you go. So for the most part, that's how the game, let's say, punishes you. It doesn't punish you too much. It respawns you close by. So once you get used to the controls, and for those of you that are very good at this kind of game, your coordination will be much better than mine, and you'll be able to find your way around much better. So it does get progressively harder. There are sections where you unlock a couple of other abilities, one of which is called grip, where there are some sections that don't have a lot of gravity, so you do a jump, and then the track appears above you, so you have to quickly do a quick barrel roll and then press grip to hug the track that's above you. So you end up basically falling upside down, and then you find yourself downside up again, if you get my drift. So once you learn how to chain those various moves together, that's pretty much it. Here's a glimpse of what you're up against. You get these little kind of hallucinations where you're driving towards this monstrous mechanical entity that you have to destroy. There isn't any combat involved, you're just driving. So there's no shooting or weapons to use. All you're doing is driving this car. Driving through these incredible levels, listening to this amazing soundtrack, and messing up like Michael usually does. Oh, I've done it again. Sometimes you can correct yourself, but no. I've done it again. But anyway, that's the end of that level. So what's my verdict? I'd say probably 7.5 to 8 out of 10. And it's a very quality game. It's very playable. Amazing visuals. I didn't experience any glitches, judders or slowdown of any kind. No bugs. I just played the campaign through, got a feel for it, and enjoyed, I wouldn't say every minute, but most minutes, with the exception of those parts that I had to like chain them together and didn't do too well and had to repeat them. Like so. The game is good. There's no jankiness. There's no sluggishness to the controls. The car handles very well. And you just take in these incredible visuals. Absolutely love them. You can turn the music down a little bit if you want to experience more of, you know, the game's soundscape, if you want to. So there you go. This is where the game starts to get a bit more difficult. You learn that you have to navigate gaps. And so on. There you go. There you have it. Well, that's distance for you. There's not too much more that I need to tell you about it. Usually I don't give any story spoilers when I review games with stories, but this one's a bit thin. I mean, you're just driving and that's pretty much it. But it's really good. And when you finish with the campaign, if you've got a few friends round, you can play in split screen. You can go into arcade and race against a few AI bots. I was going to say they're not bots, are they? But AI drivers, AI ghost drivers. Here's just a quick glimpse for you. There you go. Now you've got all your abilities here when you're racing in arcade. So you've got your boost, you've got your flight, as you can see. So you can use them to your heart's content. Use them tactically. So I reckon the arcade racing is quite challenging actually, because you really know you have to know what you're doing. That speed is incredible, isn't it? Well, I say my compliments to the devs here. This is a really cool game. And yeah, I think if you want a very good alternative to hovercar races like Wipeout and Redout and Pacer and anti-grab racing, all of those that are available, this is a really good one. Really good. 7.5, 8 out of 10, easily. Top job. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this, and yeah, take care. Ciao, ciao.